So as we all know, we're gonna get a new set soon, which means Nekroz are coming out, and there's so much hype around Nekroz, but I'm actually more interested in the Spirit Beast archetype, and we only have a couple of commons at the moment, including the coolest penguin on the planet. Talking about my boy Rampenta. But there isn't any hype around this archetype, mainly because it's probably not going to be tier 1 and competitive with Clees and BAs at the moment. So Spirit Beasts use the Spirit Beast Tamers and the Spirit Beasts to contact fusion and tag in and out of the fusion monsters from the banished zone. Which is really great, because we haven't had contact fusion since Glad Beasts or Neospatians, and I think we can all agree those really aren't like great decks at the moment. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the good and the bad about that deck. I'm personally planning on building the deck, and I've tested it a lot, so I kind of know quite a lot about it and what kind of builds you can make with it. It's a really interesting deck and it has a bunch of variety, so I'm just gonna start. Firstly, it's got a ridiculous amount of variety. This deck can use Synchro, XYZs, and Fusions. The Fusions are great, they have their own toolboxing and wall and powerhouse purposes, and the Synchros they can use E-Telly to get out the Tamers, which are psychics, and they can use a bunch of psychic tuners. So your E-Telly is there for toolboxing tuners if you need them for synchros, you get the point. But they also run a bunch of level 4s, which mean you can rank 4 with them. And the best thing is all of them are wind, so you can go for Chidori, which I'm running at 2 in my extra deck, because Chidori's just good. Another great thing is that they can use Harpy support. At the moment I'm only running one Harpy card, which is the Harpy Dancer, because it allows me to get off a couple of normal summon effects a turn, and it's just working out really great. I mean, there's not a lot of wind support, but the Harpies sometimes can be really great, what can I say? It's great against a bunch of decks in that it has a destruction trap that destroys monsters on the field up to the amount of Spirit Beasts you control. I'm going to talk about this later in a higher tier situation, but against lower tier, this is just ridiculous. You can clear a board for no cost. It's amazing, and it's searchable with a bunch of the cards. The deck can main Macro and D-Fisher. We all know this screws over a bunch of decks. Anything that can just shut down the graveyard can be really great in an anti-meta situation. So the fact that you can actually main them and it can generally help out the deck, it's just freaking amazing. It's actually getting a new fusion. It's got a 3200 attack beat stick, which requires a Spirit Beast Tamer, a Spirit Beast, and a fusion, if I'm correct. But anyway, this means that they have finally the big monster that they need to go for pushes, and it has a really great effect. It can negate a bunch of effects. I think you have to banish the Spirit Beast to negate an effect on the field or a summon or something. I haven't even read it that much, but I know it's exactly what the deck needed. So although we're not going to get this for quite a while, it's just the deck's coming together so well. The fusions trap dodge really well. I mean, they can get around like Fire Lake, I'm pretty certain, because you lose target because you can quickly, go for your contact fusion whenever you want. It's great. It's really, really fast. Once per turn they can just tag in and out really well. What can I say? It's just good. Unfortunately, this deck has got quite a lot of issues, so I am going to go through those as well. Here are some of the bad points about the deck. Firstly, it's a wind archetype. I mean, Nekroz got kind of lucky. There's quite a lot of water support, things like Salvage, I'm pretty sure Moray of Greed or whatever. There's just loads of generic water cards, but for wind, there's nothing. There really isn't anything for wind monsters except for the Harpy support, and you can only use a couple of those because they're mainly based around actual Harpy cards. Mentioned earlier, their main way of removal is destroying. They have a card that allows them to discard to bounce back a monster on the field, but that is a 1-for-1. It's not amazing. It doesn't have very much removal in the way of actually banishing from the field. It has a lot from kind of the graveyard or whatever, but it's really not got the best type of removal for this format. The big one that everyone complains about, this deck has consistency issues, and that is if you don't have a Tamer and a Beast, you're gonna have a bad time. And I think a lot of this goes down to the fact that people were trying to make it a trap-heavy deck, but I don't think that's what it should be. I think it's meant to be an anti-trap deck. It should be an anti-pretty-much-everything deck. It's trying to shut down the opponent's graveyard. It's trying to get off its own moves, which if you're drawing into traps all the time, you're never gonna get done. But overall, the deck has such slow first turns, you'd think you were playing Magic the Gathering. And we have an MST format. This relates to the fact that Macro and D-Fisher are at 1. if the deck really likes macro defisher, which it does, you're not going to have a great time in a format where people are tripling out MST in their main deck because of Cleese, etc., skill drain, all of that stuff. Yeah, and that does relate to the fact that Spirit Beasts are doing kind of well in the OCG because macro and defisher are at 3. Yeah, that's great and all, but we don't have it at 3 and everyone's running triple MST. So much removal and stuff, and you can help this by running MST bait like Shard of Greed, which will either help your consistency issues or bait out an MST. Yeah, relying on continuouses at the moment is a really tough thing. People are even sometimes tripling out Dust Tornado in their side deck. This is a ridiculously MST format. And the last point, we're just not going to see that new fusion for a while. The deck's going to come out in the new set, but we're just not gonna see its 3200 beat stick for quite a while. So we're gonna be waiting on that one monster that the deck really needs for a few months, and it's gonna kind of miss the whole Nekroz thing, and you know, Nekroz might even be like slammed by the ban list by then, because Nekroz are gonna be really good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit more technical than my other videos, and I just really am enthusiastic about this deck. The art is amazing, I love the concept, I love its variety, it's such a cool deck, and I haven't seen many people focus on it, which is really unfortunate. Anyway, I want to hear in the comments whether you're gonna run Spirit Beasts, whether you think the deck is terrible because Nekroz are just like badass as hell. Just tell me, I don't mind. I'll probably look at every single comment and reply to any that need replies. So, see you later, good luck, have fun.